I was one of the youngest billionaires in the world, and out of jealousy one of my employees murdered me and dismembered my body. Here is the tragic story. My name is Fahim Saleh. I was a 33-year-old tech mogul. I didn't know it at the time, but my assistant Tyrese Haspil was obsessed with me and my lifestyle. He would tell people that my $2 million apartment was his, and even tell people that my own dog was his. I realized that he had stolen over $100,000 from my company, and I fired him. As a result, he grew extremely jealous and angry when thinking about me. One night on my way to my condo in Manhattan, I didn't realize I was being followed by Tyrese. He was covered up in a black suit and followed me all the way to the condo. He subdued me with a taser and then stabbed me to death. The next day, he came back with a saw and dismembered my body, leaving it spread across my condo. After my body was discovered by my cousin, the police quickly learned of Tyrese and found him as the main suspect. In July of 2020, Tyrese was found guilty of murder. Follow for more stories.
You're about to listen to the moment that John Venables admits to killing 2-year-old James Bulger in a newly released recording from 1993. So this is thought to be the first time the child killer's voice has been publicly heard. Now, the trial was over 3 decades ago as well, so for this to only be allowed to be heard publicly is quite prominent now, to be fair. And I am going to put a trigger warning with this because it is quite sensitive matter, but as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure many others are concerned, it is history and is part of something that we should all know about. They both got released in 2001, and apparently now they both have new identities as well. And as The Guardian stated, the wounds don't ever heal, and they won't. As far as I'm aware as well, there is a new documentary that is about to be released onto UK TV.
This interview is being tape recorded. I'm Detective Sergeant Roberts. Now, what's your full name?
Robert Thompson.
What do they call you? Robert or Bobby?
Robert.
I think Bobby's a more friendly name. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I just want to know a little bit about you now, okay? What's your hobby then?
Skipping school.
Skipping school, is that right?
That's not a hobby, that's a profession, Bobby, when you do it as well as you.
Bobby, I came round to your house this morning, didn't I?
Yeah.
What did I say to you?
I'm listening.
Correct. What for?
James.
James, what about James?
That you said on suspicion of murdering him.
Well, very well remembered. Did you ever see him in the Strand? You shook your head again.
Yeah.
Bobby, was that on the day that we're talking about? Was that on this Friday? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going up the escalators. They were coming through the doors that there's loads of.
Who was he with?
No.
Little James.
His mum.
With his mum. He was just running around, was he, James?
Yeah.
Will you tell me exactly, slowly, right?
He was just said come here. And then he grabbed his hands and walked up the Strand.
How did he come up to John?
How did you come up to John?
James.
You know he was walking around the Strand.
Who was? James?
The baby.
Was he?
I told him to take him back.
You did what?
Told him to take him back.
You told him to take it back?
All right, Bobby. No, you're not getting all the blame. I'm just asking your son. We're trying to find the truth.
The blame.
Wait a minute, Bobby. You see, little James is following you up on stage, right? But on another picture, John, it appears as if John had hold of his hand.
Yeah, well, why are you questioning me and John as well?
John saying to us that he wasn't down at the Strand.
But we were.
I know you were at the Strand, but why should he lie to us by saying that he wasn't in the Strand? He's scared of saying that he was down in the Strand because something happened, didn't it?
Not the baby got took.
Yeah.
Not by me.
We certainly admitted throwing stones and things like that.
But he's blaming you for a lot of things.
Yeah, well, why
Do you
is it
understand?
blaming me?
Well, I want to know the truth, right? The whole truth. There's other things going on, isn't there? I know the truth. I believe I know the truth.
I was there.
That's
You
right.
waved.
Correct, but I know that a lot of things that have gone on.
Yeah, well, do you know it was me that killed him? It wasn't. I never even killed him. I'm gonna end up getting all the blame because I've got blood on me.
We're asking you, son, and we want you to tell us the truth, that's all. Not give the blame to you or anything else. But it's only the truth that we're
Yeah, well,
concerned about.
Johnny threw a brick in his face.
Can we just go through slowly, right, what John did with what, right? You said he got hit with a brick first, didn't he? Then, what did he do?
Another brick.
He threw another brick.
Will I be
2055.
able to go home tonight?
We don't know yet, we don't know yet. And I want you to
Yeah,
tell
but I don't
Rachel.
need to answer any more questions, do I?
Hey, come on now, Bobby.
That why I do want to kill him when I've got a baby of my own.
I'm trying
If I
to...
wanted to kill a baby, I kill my own, wouldn't I?
Was he able to talk?
No?
James,
Yeah?
what did he say to you?
I want me, Mum.
Right, this is part 2 of the James Bulger tapes, and if you've not listened to part 1, it's just before this, or click on the playlist at the bottom.
That the two of you were in the Strand and that you saw the little boy.
We never. Yeah, we was, but we never saw any kids there. We never got any kids.
So you were in Bootle Strand.
Was you in Bootle Strand?
Yeah, but we never got a kid, Mum. We never got a kid.
Would you, I must ask you not to get angry with it.
I never got the boy. I never killed him, Mum.
And he said that you took him by the hand and led him out of the Strand shops.
We never. He's a liar.
Calm down, my gosh.
Alright, come on, look. Have the God's honest truth?
God's honest truth, I'm telling you that we never. He was too scared. He was probably too scared.
A short while ago, as is detailed on your custody record out there, you had a conversation with your mum and you then requested that myself come into the room. Is that right? Yeah. And what was it you told us?
That I killed James. So we walked up to him and we were walking around with him and I took his hand.
And whose idea was it to walk towards him?
Mine.
Was it? What did
Then
you
it was Robert's idea to kill him. And we went outside to the canal.
What for?
Don't know, we said let's throw him in the water. He was persuading him, he said kneel down and let's look at the water and all that, but he wouldn't. Because when we wouldn't get him down, Robert picked him up and threw him on the floor and that's where he got his bump on his head.
What were you gonna? Why were you taking him to Lotton Village?
Don't know, we didn't know what to do.
You walk along where?
To the train shop. We took him on the rail shop and started throwing bricks at him. I didn't throw any bricks because Robert said pick a brick up and throw it. I just threw it on the floor.
What was Robert saying while he was doing all this?
He was saying stay down, you stupid dick and all that.
Why did he want him to stay down?
Don't know. Wanted him dead probably.
Where did the stones in the bar hit him?
In the head.
And you say the bar knocked him out?
Yeah. Onto the railway track.
And what happened then?
No, he was just lying there. Just finished now because I can't speak anymore.
This woman is Britain's worst child serial killer in modern history. She killed 7 infants and attempted to kill another 6. This is a very recent case and quite a sensitive one, so huge trigger warning. I also do not mean any disrespect when covering these cases. Hi, I'm Meg. I talk about true crime. Let's get into this case. You usually expect a serial killer to be lurking in the shadows, following you while you walk home at night, not an NHS nurse. At the age of 33, Lucy Letby has been named Britain's worst baby killer in modern history. She's one of 3 women to ever receive a life sentence in the UK. Unlike most serial killers, there's no signs of trauma in her childhood that we know of. She grew up an only child with well-respected parents in a middle-class area in England. Her parents they couldn't believe that she did this. She worked in a neonatal unit in Cheshire, England, so she was usually taking care of very vulnerable infants. A lot of them were premature, so they need 24-hour care. In the specific unit she worked in, 1 to 3 babies would die a year. That was the norm. That's until the year 2015 came around, and those numbers skyrocketed. June 2015, Lucy clocks out of work, basically so the system wouldn't see that she was working. Instead of leaving, she headed to 2 newborn babies. They were twins, and they both had been born the day before. The twins were 6 weeks premature, and Lucy injected air into both their bloodstreams, which killed the baby boy that day. The baby girl then started turning purple the next day, and the parents sobbed and begged for the doctors to do something. Luckily, they were able to save the baby girl. That night, Lucy was searching the twins' parents on Facebook. This became a pattern for Lucy. She started stalking the parents of the victims on social media. She would go searching for any Facebook posts about the death of their infants. She would look on 1-year anniversaries of the deaths, Christmas. It's just so unbelievably sinister. Days after attacking the 2 twins, she then did it again to 2 other infants. The doctors had no idea what was going on, so the head of department started investigating these deaths. There had been 3 infant deaths in 14 days, which was higher than the number of deaths that they had the year before. So the head of the department looks into it, and he sees that Lucy was the only person on all of those shifts. He went to another higher up with this information, and she actually said, "There's no way it could be Lucy." Her exact words were apparently, "Not nice, Lucy." Because the idea of it being Lucy was so unthinkable, they dropped it. People actually started pitying Lucy. They thought like, oh my God, she's having such bad luck on her shifts. The poor girl. Lucy began kind of a method when it came to these murders to ensure she wasn't caught. She would inject the infants right before her shift ended so that they would start deteriorating on somebody else's shift. She also targeted the most vulnerable infants, so the ones that were really premature or the ones who had conditions. That way, when they died, it seemed a bit less suspicious because they were already sick or premature or, something like that. So everyone thought, poor Lucy, she's so unlucky. She had to be the one, this makes it so much worse. She had to be the one who then bathed the infant afterwards, clothed it, and brought it to the parents. And apparently a lot of the time, she would do so sobbing. She would sit there and cry with the mother. In 2016, she started injecting infants with insulin, or she would overfeed them, or she would use the air in the bloodstream method. She would do it all in such a small period and kill loads of infants. She killed 2 brothers in a set of triplets, and she brought them to the mother, sobbing. This mother, who had just lost 2 of her 3 infants, said that Lucy cried just as much as she did, basically. Lucy had targeted at that point 13 infants and killed 7 of those 13. After the incident with the triplets, she was actually removed from the neonatal unit. She continued working in the hospital at the time. The hospital then started investigating all of the deaths, and her name kept coming up. They then brought their findings to the police, and under a year later, in 2018, Lucy was finally arrested. I cannot imagine having to tell those grieving parents that their infant didn't actually die of natural causes and that someone at the hospital, the staff, murdered their child. I also can't imagine being the parents, having to go to that trial. Like, oh my God. Lucy did not admit to any of her crimes. I posted a video of the arrest and some of the interrogation. It's linked in my comments. I couldn't fit it in here. But eventually police went through her stuff and they found some notes that she had written. I'm going to read out what one of them said. It said, "I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them. I'm evil. I did this." So if that's not a confession, I don't know what is. She apparently came off as really cold during the trial, because as the parents were reliving their trauma on the stand, she was just like blankly staring at nothing. It's also the fact that the parents had to find out that the person who bathed, clothed, and gave them their deceased infant was the person who murdered their infant. It's like, this has to be one of the most like disgusting killers I've covered, because I just like can't wrap my head around it. It's truly awful. Like I said at the start of the video, she did get life in prison, so she's not coming out. My heart seriously goes out to anyone who is affected by this, because it is quite recent. That is all for today's case. I really wasn't sure about this one, because I usually talk about true crime and do my makeup. I did it as usual, but I almost didn't want to do the makeup bit because it felt, I don't know, it felt wrong with this case. But hopefully you guys know that I never mean any disrespect when covering these cases. Yeah. It's terrifying that, like, this was a nurse in a hospital and you trust those people, you know? I hope that you guys have a good day despite hearing this truly awful case, and let me know what case you want me to cover next. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. Oh, and don't forget to check out the interrogation and arrest video in the comments.
This security footage here at the MCSO Adult Detention Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. The footage is silent, so I'm going to give you guys some context to this video and some background. The inmate that you see here is 34-year-old Orlando Mitchell. The deputy is 61-year-old, 38-year veteran Deputy John Durham. And Deputy Durham is transporting Orlando Mitchell to a local hospital so that he can receive some sort of treatment. The reason that Orlando Mitchell was in jail in the first place is because he was being held awaiting trial in the shooting murder of his ex-girlfriend. They shared a 1-year-old son together, and she had 2 kids that she was dropping off at a daycare early in the morning around 7:30 in September of 2022, and he shot and killed her. Police say that several children witnessed her murder, and then when cops caught up with him, he was shot by police 2 times. Possibly, I'm just speculating here, maybe the reason that he's being transported to the hospital is some sort of follow-up treatment or testing from when he was shot in September. So because of this coward, Deputy John Durham lost his life, and he left behind his wife and 4 sons, and also his parents were still alive. So I have to imagine that they're kind of elderly, and what a way toward the end of their life to learn that their son lost his life. Deputy John Durham was known by Johnny, by his friends and family, and he was remembered as positive and encouraging and as an unsung hero of law enforcement. He was laid to rest on July 17th, 2023, a week after he was cold-bloodedly murdered. If you guys enjoy listening to True Crime Podcast, please go check out my podcast. It's called Tell Me a True Crime Story, and it's available on all platforms. I would appreciate that so much. And follow me here on TikTok for more videos like this. And part 4 will be posted soon. Thank you.
My wife and I just did a murder mystery game for date night and we had so much fun. To start off, we put baby Adeline to sleep so we could focus on solving the mystery. Then Mal grabbed some of our favorite snacks and got the game ready. Before getting into it, Mal started a timer because we were sure we'd be done within 2 hours. And after that, we got everything opened up and ready to go. The game is also really interactive, so before starting, you scan this QR code and that takes you to a site where there's this video that gives you a ton of backstory and context. After that, we dived in and realized quickly how much evidence there was to solve this mystery. It really kept us on the edge of our seats the entire time and it was really fun solving the mystery together. And it was super gratifying at the end when we figured out who the murderer actually was.
Oh my god! We were right!
And I hate to admit, but it actually took a lot longer to finish than we thought it would.
How long did it take us to finish that?
Over 2.5 hours.
Oh my god.
You can find the game at Target, Walmart, Amazon, or at the link in our bio.
Breaking news Sunday, September 10th, authorities have now confirmed the escaped Pennsylvania inmate has a vehicle. Not only does he have a vehicle, but he was seen on Ring doorbell footage. This location is about 25 miles away from Longwood Gardens where they were initially searching. He was seen in northern Chester County near Phoenixville. They say he is now clean shaven, wearing a yellow or green sweatshirt, a black baseball hat, and green prison pants, along with white shoes. He is driving an unknown vehicle that is possibly white in color. There was police radio activity discussing him being in someone's yard last night. If you want to hear that, the video previously has that information. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
This is the one. So here's Ruby from the court hearing today. Here's Jody. Let me blow him up. Ruby was wearing a yellow jumpsuit. Jody's was either faded orange or pink. If you were on my live stream earlier and it suddenly ended, I'm sorry, my phone died because I was live for so long. The court case was not canceled. I pretty much called it when I said too many people were going to be joining. So it took them a while to get the whole audio situation figured out. They were kicking people out because people weren't muting their cameras. So court was supposed to start at 3:30 and it took them a while to start weeding people out who were not turning off their cameras, were not muting their audio, people were being stupid. But luckily, they didn't remove your girl. I had pulled it up on my TV at 1 o'clock, waiting to get in, so we did not get removed. So if you actually came to my live, thank you, I appreciate you. You got to hear a little bit of the case. Now, Ruby is believed to be in yellow because she was in a medical block. The court hearing was very quick. The judge basically denied them both bail, but Ruby's lawyer requested that they both have the same judge, since it's the same case, which the judge did grant. And the next hearing is set for September 21st. And in a separate video, I will post the video recap of the actual court session.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off.